Welcome everybody. Welcome back to my motherfucking channel. Today I have a full lower body workout for you. Yeah, we're gonna be working that peach. We're gonna be working some lateral movements, some deadlifts. You already know your boy had to get swole, had to get thick. Even though I did notice some questionable deadlift form, so I'm going to make adjustments going forward. So there's a lot to take away from this one. I have a couple of good movements that people may like. Some simple stuff you can do at home with minimal equipment, as well as some little tips and things that most people wouldn't think about in the gym. Like the exercises I did in this video are things that people don't typically think about. And you know what? I just realized again that I didn't actually fucking introduce myself. Welcome to the channel if you're new here or new to me. My name is Tyler Egan. I'm a certified personal trainer, and I decided I'm gonna start putting my workouts out there. I've had a lot of people ask me about specific workouts, stuff like that. So I figured I would kind of take people in my head, like what kind of goes through my head when I'm doing exercises, when I'm working out and stuff like that. What kind of things do I think about cueing wise for movements, where you should feel stuff, all that kind of stuff. So I just kind of break it down. You kind of get a little bit of, the craziness that is me. So without further ado, let's get into today's leg day. My main movement was a deadlift, followed by some pause squats because I want to work on specific things with my technique. And then I did a circuit to finish it off. My leg days are pretty simple. So let's get into it. All right. So one thing I've been realizing lately is that I really like kicking off a workout with some RDLs. It doesn't have to be crazy. Just like a first, maybe 2 sets of a moderate weight just to feel a good stretch. It's really been helping me a lot. So another thing I like to do pre-movement is, especially on a leg day, is some ankle mobility. So that's me doing some deep goblet squats. Fucking awesome mobility work there. I'll have to explain that later. So my deadlift form, honestly, here you see me moving the weight back and forth. I'm just trying to create tension in my upper body. So I'm trying to think about snapping the bar in half to really create stability in my shoulders. That kicks on the lats, rotator cuff, all those kinds of muscles. Really engages the shoulders. The problem is it's definitely giving out because I can see my lower back rounding, and then like my pelvis slowly follows it. I just don't like the way this looks. So going forward, I decided to switch to more of a lower weight, but more volume. So I decided to go from, I think it was at 280 down to 225, and I did just some volume work to really kind of focus on my technique a bit more. My spine is still moving a lot. That's definitely a thing. But with the deadlift, like I said, one of my favorite cues is thinking about snapping the bar in half. Really engage the lats and all the upper back muscles. I did a much better job with it here. My spine stays pretty neutral, all things considered, and my hips were moving a lot better. I just still don't like the way my spine's moving, but hey, you live and you learn. All right, so now we're getting into some pause squats. I decided to go with pause squats. I messed around with camber bar squats, front squats. I could try safety bar squats. But anyway, I decided to go with pause squats because I was starting to realize that my pelvis was dumping underneath my body when I would do deep squats. This is a posterior pelvic tilt or butt wink, and every time it starts to happen, my back pain starts to flare up more. So that's definitely causing it. And what I've come to the conclusion of is I have really bad coordination with my glutes to get them to fire when I'm in a deeper squat position. So I'm starting with these box squats because I like the idea of controlling the weight down to a parallel level, and then I can work into a deeper squat down the road. So I really like pause squats for this reason. Eventually I'll work up to pause squats where I hit the depth I would like to. But for now, I'm doing this. I'm keeping an upright back, keeping my shoulders stable, creating like that shelf you're kind of looking for with my upper back muscles, and really trying to control the movement in my hips and my glutes on the way down. So, again, I really like the pause squat. And one takeaway right here. I want you guys to pay attention. All right. This is serious. watch how I re-rack the weights. This is phenomenal work, if I do say so myself. Now we're getting into some fancy shit. This is my circuit. These are some stability ball glute ham raises. The idea behind this to get those synergistic muscles, the hamstrings and the glutes, to work together in hip extension here. We do this when we do a glute bridge. You can kind of tell by the way the movement is. But the difference here is we never have that leg curl when we're doing a glute bridge. We're pressing into the ground, but our legs are already curled. We're just worried about thrusting our hips up. The idea with this exercise is you get those muscles to work together in synergy because they are synergistic muscles. The other thing I like about this exercise is it really, you're on a stability ball, so it may go without saying, but if it doesn't, it makes it way more challenging because you lack a lot of stability. You see me having to reposition my feet quite a few times because of it. So really, really love the glute ham raises with the stability ball. Next in the circuit is kettlebell sumo squats. You could use a dumbbell if you wanted to. Really the same thing. I just like a kettlebell better because of the weight distribution of the actual, I guess you call it a tool or a bell, in the other case, a dumbbell. Yeah, they're both bells. I like this because, and honestly, a friend of mine gave me this idea, she told me this is the reason she likes the exercise. It really helps you kind of gain control of your pelvic floor. A lot of people have a hard time feeling their glutes. This exercise can really help, and it gets some adductor work in here. I'm sorry. I was getting some adductor work in, but this exercise also does that as well because of the stretch, because of how much I'm stepping out laterally, out to the side. So what I mean by laterally, getting a good stretch on the adductors. My adductors are weak, and this really helps with my hip mobility as well. So I really like training laterally. For sure, a lot of people neglect this. We have a lot of range of motion to train in, my friends. We have the transverse plane, the frontal plane, the sagittal plane. Sagittal is up and down, like regular squats. Frontal plane is lateral movements like so. And then last but not least, we have transverse plane, which is normally rotational movements. So to wrap up this leg workout, we have walking lunges. Again, this is a circuit. I go through this twice at the very end, sometimes 3. But here I'm doing kettlebell bottoms up lunges. This is kind of to fatigue my legs a bit more, but also challenge some stability in my shoulders, in my thoracic spine. It's definitely a weak point of mine. My shoulders tend to collapse pretty easily and give out. So I really like the challenge of these bottoms up bottoms up kettlebell squats, lunges. Holy hell, it's getting late, my friends. And that's a wrap, my friends. Leg day. Well, this is more of a lower body day. There is a difference to me. There is. I incorporate glutes and Erector Spinae, I believe I said that right, in a leg day. In a lower body day. And just a leg day, I'm focusing more on hamstrings and quads. That's just kind of the way I view it. So yeah, that's a full lower body day for you. I did a whole podcast episode on it. And if you guys haven't listened to that, or if you didn't even know I had a podcast, go check that out. I'll put a link down below. But I did a podcast episode on how to create I call it the blueprint to a perfect leg day. And basically, to me, a good or perfect, and there's no such thing as perfect, but a really good leg day, you have a hip hinge, a squat, you train laterally or in the frontal plane or the transverse plane for that matter, whichever one you want to do that day, and you do a single leg stability exercise. That's to me, that's it. You could definitely make that brutal. And the stability exercise doesn't necessarily have to be single leg. If you can't do that, there are other ways to challenge yourself stability-wise. But, that's in a nutshell what I think you need for a really good leg day. I've seen a lot of progress with that, especially with adding stability movements and lateral movements, because stability, what people don't understand is we have joints that are mobile joints and we have joints that are stable joints, and our hips are a stable joint. They're a mobile joint. Our knees are a stable joint, so we need to make sure we're training them that way. I believe our feet are a stable joint. So we need to make sure we're challenging them in that way as well. And laterally, that'll help with stability, but training laterally, you also get, we have all of this range of motion, my friends. All of it. You see me like swinging around here. We have all of this range of motion. Let's fucking use it. If we don't, the muscles aren't going to function well. They're not going to function properly. So use it. You got all of it. That's the video, guys. I hope you took something from this. Let me know what kind of workout you want to see next. I'm thinking about doing a new program. I have a really good idea of how I want to structure it. I'm taking a huge step back. I'm just going to work on volume, try to put on some size a little bit here, and then really work on my form and stability training so that it translates to more strength gains later. I think that's my move. So I'm thinking about doing an upper-lower 6-day split. And when I figure it out, I think I'm going to upload the videos in this format for you guys to check out. So that's it. Like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, and peace.